Hi, everybody. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world, and a hot mess every day, indeed. So, tonight I wanted to talk about Venezuela and why liberals are mad at Venezuelans because they are not mad that Donald Trump got rid of their wicked dictator. But before we talk about this, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. This means I love you in sign language, and I do, especially the people that support this channel. You know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, share, like the videos, whatever you can do to help a sister out. You know what to do. So let's move on. I had to come on here and talk about this because it is so important for everyone to see in America and abroad how much liberals are just crazy. I'm sorry, they're crazy. Anytime a whole million people, a whole nation is telling you that they're happy about something, and then you have a bunch of white liberals telling you that you shouldn't be happy. I mean, why do they feel almost not my lighter? Why do they feel that they know what is best for everybody? That's the thing that's the problem that I always had with Democrats and liberals, is that they want to convince everybody they're oppressed. Meanwhile, the people that are telling you that you're being oppressed by white people are married to white people. They are millionaires, and it makes no sense. I always try to come on here and show you people, and I'm mostly talking to my community, liberal Black people. But I like to come on here and show you other people that look like us, other people from all across the world, all nationalities that do not subscribe to liberalism and the liberal agenda. So tonight, I want to bring to you, again, I always show his videos by Anton Daniels. I like Anton a lot. Do I agree with him on everything? No. I always say this because it's like you all have like the most limited mindset. Like, you don't have to agree with somebody on everything. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I agree with most of these people like 90% of the time. I like Anton because first of all, he has a large following, and he's a Black man. And I've just learned to really not like Black liberal men. I don't subscribe to their mentality, and I don't like most of them. I'm sorry to say that, but I just don't. I don't even want to go into it, but I don't care for them very much. You could go on my Facebook and see the comments that they leave, and then that'll explain to you why I don't like them. So anyway, let's just watch this video because we have a lot to watch tonight, because I also have an Asian fellow on here that also agrees, with my stance. I'm a Black woman. I've been Black all my life. And I just don't subscribe. I think that they are crazy at this point, because the mentality is like, let's just destroy this country. We hate this president. So in order to hate this president, let's just get in the way of everything that they're doing. Let's just keep on causing havoc and make it everything 100 times harder to be better in this nation. I just feel like they are the thorn in America's side at this point. And a lot of people are leaving the party and, unsubscribing to liberalism because it's too crazy. Okay, so let's watch this video because we just have a lot to talk about. I always like to show Anton's videos because he's kind of controversial, but I feel like most of the time he's right in what he's saying, and he's a person that says what needs to be said. And I love people like that, because I feel like today people are afraid to speak the truth. I know that to be true from the people in my field. They are afraid. I work in entertainment, by the way. They are afraid, and I've heard people tell me this all the time. They are afraid to speak out for fear of retaliation. So why would you want to align with these people? Hi, Troy. How are you? Thank you. That's right. He says Venezuela is happy and Democrats are mad. Yeah, it makes no sense. It really makes no sense at all that and mostly it's just white women and white liberals. And for some reason, Black people follow along with them. It It makes no sense. They do the same thing to us and tell us that we're being oppressed. We're being oppressed. Meanwhile, they're all millionaires married to white people. So how bad can white people really be is my question all the time. How are you going to allow people that are doing that to tell you that you're being oppressed? It makes no sense because they think that you're dumb. Okay, so let's watch this video by Anton. Just listen to this. I always think his perspective is really good. And I always put people on here for you guys to watch so you can stop watching liberal media, see something outside of the mainstream media. I barely post videos from Fox News sometimes because, because I feel like sometimes they can be controlled opposition sometimes. I don't really know what to think of them because sometimes certain stories they bury too. I just feel like mainstream media is becoming a thing of the past. I really like to watch the independent journals. I like to watch international news, and those are the things that really form my opinion. But let's listen to what Anton's going to say.
Ask you because from your vice president, J.D. Vance, said that the message is pretty clear. The drug trafficking must stop. So was this operation a message that—
I'm sorry, but Troy says Venezuela was 5 below poverty until that dictator. Yeah. And the people are overjoyed, and I don't know why liberals just won't accept that. They won't accept it. This president is doing a decent job, and he has the respect of a lot of these leaders in all these nations. And he, I feel like he's a strong leader because he says what he says and he handles business and he's getting things done. And I feel like in one year, this administration has done more than Democrats in decades. And I wish that they would just leave them alone and let them work and, just let's see what they're doing in 4 years. Hi, Jerome. Thanks for coming in. And to see what's going to happen at the end of 4 years. Conservatives let Democrats destroy the country. They just sat back and watched it and said, wow, this is fucked up. But, hopefully in 4 years, we could get rid of these people. Just chill. I don't understand this mentality. It's crazy. Okay, let's listen.
You're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels
and
are.
Can somebody explain to me how Mexico got a Jewish president? I mean, no shade, but I just didn't understand how that went down.
Running Mexico. And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, oh, yes, she is. No, she's very, she's very.
Troy's saying he's been in about 17, what are you saying? In about 17, 32 city fuel prices are down. Yes, they are. They are down a lot. And he said he would get fuel prices down, and he did. I feel like liberals know he's doing a good job, and they're just saying anything they can to fight against what he's doing. But at this point, just get on board and just be prosperous and shut up. I mean, the more that they talk, the more that they're putting the nails in their coffin, which is good for us. So honestly, keep on. 17 states. Okay, yes. And Troy travels a lot. I see him all the time on Facebook. He's traveled. So somebody's telling you that other places, they have really low gas prices. And I know they do because my gas prices that I see in New Jersey and New York tri-state are much cheaper. But y'all still complaining. It's like you find any little thing to complain about. Tell us if he did a good job in 4 years, because so far the rest of the world is happy with this president. I just, what did the crown prince from Saudi Arabia come to visit? He's never come to America to see a leader here. So he gets the respect. So I just wish everybody would just shut up and just chill and just, get this money and just chill. I don't get it.
Very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico. And I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please. So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. They like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people. And we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada too, by the way, in case you don't know. But they come in through the southern border, and something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
Why did you decide?
Mark Kendall says, where are the Free Palestine protesters? You nominated Kamala Harris without a primary, forced people to get the COVID vaccine against their will, yet you criticize Trump for removing a dictator. Agreed. They always talk about Nazis and dictators, but the only dictators I've ever seen in this country are Democrats. From the beginning of history, they've always been tyrannical, and the Biden administration was tyrannical with their COVID policies and all this enforcing shots on people. I just don't understand what kind of delusional mindset you can be in to think that these people are good for you. It's crazy to me.
I tried to do this morning.
Are you talking about calling you people or the shot?
No, taking
because
out
I'm not sure.
Maduro.
I'm not sure which is worse. If you want to know the truth, I'm calling you. I haven't spoken to anybody else because Charlie Hurd has been a great friend of mine for a long time. He was with me when it was not fashionable.
Yeah.
He always does that because it was a black man that tried to approach him at an event at the White House, and the Secret Service, as they're supposed to, tried to block him from getting to him. And Donald Trump said, and he was a black man. Donald Trump said, "No, let him. I want to talk to him because he supported me when it wasn't in fashion to support me." And that's the thing. It's like, now everybody's jumping on a bandwagon now that they see everything is that it's like, I guess they're just having a revelation, or they see he's doing a good job, and more people are, leaving the Democratic Party, and they're looking more and more crazy over there. And now it's like, cool, to be a Trump supporter. Like, nobody, only people that care at this point are really far left lunatics that, because now most people are in the middle, like, yeah, wow, really something is not right with these people. Trump is like shock therapy. Yeah.
And those are the people I like. He was with me, Charlie, when it was not
grateful.
at all fashionable. So that's the reason I'm doing this. And your show is great. You're
I'm
doing a
very
great
grateful,
job. What
dude.
a good team.
So Trump is basically
good for you, Troy. Me too. I took a lot of smoke over because even from COVID, I was, just saying how much I can't stand Democrats and how much I hate liberals. And, I took a lot of smoke. Hi, Jody. Venezuelans had a de facto president for the last 10 years. That's why many of them fled to Colombia, Mexico, and Guyana. Yes. And that's why, and he emptied out his prisons and insane asylums and said, I'm over here. And everybody that could get out of Venezuela got out and came here. So you have a large population of Venezuelans in this country that are, thankful to this president. Maybe now they really will go back home. Maybe they could be happy in their country. And I feel like liberals just want everybody to be broke and unhappy. Because that's the behavior. That's all that it presents is brokenness and misery at this point.
Putting a warning out, and we'll talk about Colombia also in another video, but Trump is putting a warning out basically saying, listen, they weak over there. These leaders are weak. They're not doing anything. They are a part of the United Nations. The United Nations are upset that
Let me tell you, if you don't understand about globalism and globalist organizations, because the United Nations, the World Health Organization, shout out for Trump for taking us out of the World Health Organization, and what's the other one? The World Economic Forum. Those are globalist organizations. They are not government organizations. Those are globalist organizations, a bunch of elite people that put something together so that they can rule the world and control all the world's people and all the world's resources, do the research. That is the globalist agenda. That is the Democrat and liberal agenda. Go learn about it.
we stop the drug trafficking here inside of the United States of America, and God knows who and where else. Obviously, we have to tackle the issue with regard to the oil. And again, that'll be in a different video, but he's basically said and called out Claudia Sheinbaum, who is the recently elected first Jewish female president of Mexico. And she is afraid of the cartel, and Trump is not afraid of the cartel. And he's speaking very plainly. And this is one of the reasons why I love him as a president, because he's not being politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
He's being direct when he can be, because obviously he doesn't want to compromise any of the plans that he has, such as capturing Maduro. But he's very straightforward and direct about the fact that a lot of these leaders are weak inside of these countries. And she doesn't run Mexico. The cartels run Mexico. And now the United States of America is running Venezuela until they can find somebody to actually take the mantle of running Venezuela, while the people praise Trump and the United States of America for removing Maduro. And on top of that, you got liberals here in the United States of America that is upset. I seen a CNN hit piece as usual, and they are desperately trying to find somebody to paint the narrative over in Venezuela, to be angry at the fact that Trump has completely removed Maduro, who obviously stole an election, and even the Biden administration.
And that's the thing. Liberals don't even know most of the time the situations that they're supporting and getting behind. Because he lost the election and just stayed there. You know, that he is a real dictator, a tyrannical dictator. And the people wanted him gone. And he sent all of those criminals over here, all of the people at the insane asylum, all kinds of drugs come over here from there. And it's not like Trump didn't ask them multiple times to stop sending people with drugs over here. And he just handled his business. I'm not mad at it. And the Venezuelan people ain't mad at it. So why are white liberals mad at it? And then you have the black liberals mad at it because the white liberals are mad at it. It's like, give me a break.
Said that they didn't recognize him as the rightful president of Venezuela. And, you know, he's just basically saying, listen, we about business and we cleaning things up, and we can't keep letting them flood the United States of America with drugs, and we need to cut it off at the spout. And so that's what he's doing, and I respect it.
Ben, why did you make the decision to take out Maduro this morning? And what was Maduro doing when our guys came in on him?
So we were going to do this 4 days ago.
Mark Kendall says Iran is next. Its citizens must reclaim their countries and fiercely oppose replacement policy, digital IDs, Agenda 30. I really enjoy it here. You understand me? Yes, I do. Jody says this goes back to the 1980s Iranian Contra affairs scandal. Damn, I feel like I need my glasses. Y'all look the comments up. This goes back to the 1980s Iranian Contra affair scandal of cocaine crack funneled into America in the black communities. That is 40 years worth of collateral national damage it has caused our nation. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And he's saying that fentanyl they sent over here has killed hundreds of thousands of people. But liberals want to fight to keep people like this. They want to fight to keep, drug traffickers in the country. To me, the mentality is so insane. I just don't understand how anybody can align with it. I just don't understand. It just perplexes me, the minds of these people.
But the weather was not perfect. The weather has to be perfect. And we had just the perfect weather. We had, very good. A little bit few more clouds than we thought, but it was good. We waited 4 days. We were going to do this 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. And then all of a sudden it opened up and we said, go. And I'll tell you, it was just amazing. And what was he doing? He was in a very highly guarded, like a fortress, actually. He was in a fortress. That we had nobody killed was amazing. I think we had nobody killed, I have to say, because a couple of guys were hit, but they came back and they're supposed to be in pretty good shape. But that we had nobody killed.
When have you ever had a president like this with the press? I've never seen it. Where he just talks openly to the press. He doesn't get any questions beforehand. He doesn't have a whole censorship committee picking and choosing which journalists and what questions to answer. He's just open to me. I feel like he's honest. A lot of times people don't like what he has to say, but it is what it is. He's just who he's always been. I don't think he's any different than he was back in the days when everybody loved him. Mark Kendall says this military operation sent a clear message to China: do not loiter in our backyard. Yup, I know that's right, because he gagged them, because China was there visiting when they got him. So I ain't mad. I'm not mad at it. You're so right. You're very right.
Lost no aircraft. Everything came back. We got it all back. One of them was hit pretty hard, but a helicopter, but we got it back. But it just was the right time to do it. We had to do it because it's a war. We're losing 300,000 people a year. We don't lose that much in a war. Okay, if you look. And we had to do it.
If you look at it, globalists, their whole agenda is to depopulate and destabilize. They can't control and rule the world if there are any superpower. Oh, excuse me, I just was drinking indigestion. But anyway, they can't control the world if you have superpowers. You have to come in and destabilize all these nations to come in and dominate them. And this is what their plan has been. And they do it all over the world. And why these idiotic people cannot see this? It seems like it's as clear as day. But for whatever reason, these people, they don't get it. And I feel like Democrats, like I always say, they are always on the wrong side of history. Always.
But he was in a house that was more like a fortress than a house. It had steel doors. It had what they call a safety space, where it's, solid steel all around. He didn't get that space closed. He was trying to get into it, but he got bum rushed so fast that he didn't get into that. We were prepared. We had, massive blowtorches.
Let me tell y'all something. American intelligence and military is the strongest in the world. Be happy and grateful that you are here and not in one of these other countries. That's all I got to say. I feel happy to be American. I feel happy to be in this country. For the people, the way people complain in this country, you can tell they've never suffered and been anywhere where it really was a third world country. It's crazy. Jerome's like, it's going to be like follow the ships now. That's right.
And everything else that you need to get through that steel, but we didn't need it. He didn't make it to that area of the house.
Mr. President, your war on narcotics.
Trump was saying that the guy tried to hide in this steel bunker, but he never got in it. And he said even if he would have got up in there, they had these special things to cut through the steel that nobody else has. You understand? So he's just putting it out there for the rest of, any enemies out there who try it, that they're ready and they got everything, every weapon formed against you. That's basically what he's saying.
Terrorism from our southern border and beyond clearly will save American lives. Moving forward for Venezuela, what do you think is next for the Venezuelan people now that you have removed Maduro so that he can face American justice?
Freedom.
Well, we're making that decision now. We can't take a chance on letting somebody else run and just take over where he left off. So we're making that decision now. We'll be involved in it very much. And we want to do liberty for the people. We want to, have a great relationship. I think the people of Venezuela are very, very happy because they love the United States. They were run by essentially a dictatorship or worse. It couldn't have been worse. It was a terrible thing that was taking place in Venezuela. But look, tremendous numbers of people were being killed through drugs. And what they did to our country in sending prisoners and people from mental institutions and drug lords and everything, they sent them by the hundreds of thousands.
Because they wanted to destabilize this country. That's why people kept saying it is an invasion, because it was.
People into our country. And that is just unforgivable. That's why, he wanted to negotiate at the end, and I didn't want to negotiate. I said, nope. We got to do it. He was trying to negotiate at the end. You probably saw that. And trying hard to make a deal. And I said, this could have been a very foolish thing if it didn't work out. But I said, nope, we can't do it. What he did with drugs was bad. What he did with a lot of other things was bad. But what he did was sending hundreds of thousands of Tren de Aragua and drug dealers.
They did do that.
They emptied out their jails into our country.
And the Biden administration should have been held accountable for it. The people acted like it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
They protested for them to get deported out of the United States of America. And that's why I say that a lot of people actually hate this country that were born in this country, liberals, because they hate Trump so bad that they'd rather have these people in our country doing some of the worst things and murdering American citizens.
You're a damn sheep. Anytime you would rather see your country and your own self and your own money and stability be destroyed just because you don't like a president. And most of the time when I ask liberals why they don't like him, they really don't have any logical reason or any factual reason why they don't like him. It's just, like they say, a mind virus, because they don't really have any facts or receipts of why they don't like him. And the reasons that they do say they don't like him are just not true and accurate.
Flooding our country with drugs than they would on trying to do the right thing and ensuring the right type of people needs to be here.
Emptied out, if you think about it, they emptied out all of their mental institutions into our country. What he did there, and every other thing, is unforgivable.
Mañana hicimos un posicionamiento.
In the morning, we issued a position together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on behalf of the government of Mexico. We defend the Estrada Doctrine and what Mexican foreign policy represents which is established in the Constitution, which is against interventions and in favor of the peaceful resolution of any conflict. Likewise, Article 2 of the United Nations Charter clearly establishes that there should be
Now,
no
the United Nations, nobody has to comply with. I feel like Trump should take us out the United Nations and all of those globalist organizations. He already took us out the World Health Organization, so I got what I voted for with that alone.
military intervention, but rather a multilateral solution within the framework of the United Nations. That is our position.
That's how you know she's a globalist. And that's how it makes sense why she's there, because she's trying to enact the globalist agenda and the globalist way of doing things. Y'all better wake up.
For that reason, we condemn this intervention in Venezuela. We have a very good relationship in terms of security and other issues with the United States. There is communication. There is an understanding on security matters that has been established in several meetings. An initial meeting in which Secretary Marco Rubio was in Mexico, and then several meetings that have taken place. So we, as we have always said, collaboration, coordination, but not subordination. Does Mexico's relationship with Venezuela continue? And how, given that the United States is going to administer the government? Well, we are going to review it. I think it has to be reviewed with the government team, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and evidently within the constitutional framework of our country. That is, so far, our statement, and we will remain attentive and continue to keep you informed.
So basically what they're saying is that they have no backbone, that they were willing to continue to let a dictator that was ruining the country and destroying Venezuela, while at the same time, remotely destroying the United States of America by flooding our borders with people that weren't supposed to be here, along with drugs. And they are more willing to allow for, and this is why
I'm not sure I know what you mean, Jerome. You said, I do believe some people stay behind to infiltrate. In which way do you mean? Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
the United Nations is weak, and the Trump administration actually spoke against them. They were willing to allow for these people to continue to flood our borders with all of the worst things until the Trump administration finally stepped in and did something, unlike the previous administrations before them. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link.
Yes, Troy, you are so correct. Troy says Black people have no idea why they don't like Trump. No liberals have any idea. I ask them all the time, and they just don't like him. You know, they'll just start cursing, getting mad, and just saying that they don't like him. But when you ask them to give a specific reason, they just still don't. The government's still doing the same. Yes, you know what, Jerome, you're right. He's saying the government's still doing surveillance to take everything down, because technically that dictatorship is still in power, because his vice president now is the president, and they're all part of the same administration. So they do have to take that down. You're right. And he did say they're going to run the country. They're going to help them get these people out of there 100%. So we haven't heard the last from Venezuela. Now, there's another video that I wanted to show you. Yes, I agree. I'm clapping with you, Jerome. So this is another guy that I like to watch, and his name is Vince Dow. And hold on, open the screen way too big. Now I can't see anything. Hold on, guys. And he's an Asian guy that doesn't subscribe to liberalism. And I felt like he had a lot of good videos on here, and I like the way he puts his videos together. So that's why I watch it. All of these links will be in the description. I forgot to put them in there, but I will add them to this video when I'm done, and all the links will be in the description. You can watch all these videos and look at these people. And the more you watch stuff like this, the more the algorithm is going to come and show you more things like this. GTO up north, the shadow government is using Trump as the mouthpiece, and we are stuck in this hate Trump cycle. I guess I don't even know. The shadow government is using Trump as the mouthpiece, and we are. I don't know if I believe that. I don't even know if I believe that. I don't think that he's a mouthpiece. I honestly really do think he wants to go down in history as the person that saved America and saved the world, whether it be his ego, whatever the case may be. All I know is he's doing a better job than the people that were in there before him. Mark Kingle says the U.S. threw a monkey wrench into China's supply. Yes, they did. That's what I'm saying. China was just there visiting with them. China and Russia are gagging right now because he just threw salt on their entire game. And you are right about that. So let's watch this other video. what did you say? What is that? Saudi Arabia, is that what you're saying? Holds approximately 60% of the world's lithium reserves and 40% of its copper reserves. China had a stronghold on these resources, the minerals, power, AI, EVs, and renewable energy. Yes. So he just cut them. South America. Okay. Yeah. So he just cut them off at the ankles. And that's, good business. The art of the deal. Jerome Street says he wants to have red, white, and blue flag with his face to be the new flag. Listen, if you can create peace amongst all these countries and make everybody get money and peace, and we're not fighting, and everybody's thriving, and all these countries are thriving, I wouldn't care. I really don't care if they put his face in there. All I care about is my damn pocket and my safety. I don't care about anybody's ego and what they do to mend their ego. I really don't care at all. I really don't. So let's watch this next video. This guy had a lot of good clips in this. So I had to share this. I just want you guys to just watch other stuff. It's like you're stuck and you just only hear one narrative all the time. Cheers, Jerome. You just have one narrative all the time. So food is cheaper. I don't know. It depends on what state you're in, because sometimes places are failing too, Jerome, because the states are mismanaging the money too. That's why I feel like they should have a 50-state audit. I know gas is cheaper, and there's a lot of great things happening here. So more jobs are coming here. There's no jobs barely here, and he's trying to create more jobs. You act like it's going to be this drastic change in 12 months when you guys were crickets for the decades that Democrats were in office. So let's listen to this. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
And we unequivocally stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialist aggression.
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets?
What?
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets?
Now listen how dumb this guy is. He's out there talking about that he's protesting something. He has no idea what he's protesting, but this is how they carry on.
It's today.
I saw images of Venezuelans being bombed after the U.S., bombed Caracas. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I think you should definitely
show me the bombings that you're talking about. I didn't see any.
I don't know. I just saw it on Reddit. It was on the front page of
Reddit.
So.
It must suck to be a leftist. Genuine question for them. How does it feel to be wrong about literally everything?
Everything.
Do you enjoy humiliating yourself? Is it some weird form of masochism? I don't exactly know. But today, in yet another mass left-wing embarrassment, a horde of actual communists, yes, that's what they were, Zoran Mondani among them, decided to hold a big protest in New York City against the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro. In other words, let's literally wave communist flags and rally in support of the communist dictator. Except it didn't really all go too well for two reasons, I would argue. First and foremost, objectively, you do look kind of silly staging an anti-war protest for a war that's already over or arguably never even happened, right? Yeah. By the time they even made the signs and got out onto the streets, the whole thing was settled. Good job there. That would almost be as dumb as still marching for Palestine months after you already got a ceasefire and an end to that war. Oh, wait, they do that as well, but go figure. Secondly, however, and perhaps the most satisfying aspect of this all is to watch the way in which the actual Venezuelan people, both in America and in Venezuela, are so utterly repudiating what the left wing thought was their anti-white sort of brown multiracial coalition, right? That's sort of been the guiding philosophy behind Marxists in the West for, a couple decades at least now. Hey, let's sort of build this coalition of the browns against the whites. That's going to be our form of the class war. And surely the Venezuelans are going to appreciate that we're standing up to American imperialism and colonialism. And yet you're seeing such overwhelming evidence of the opposite. Actually, it's the Venezuelan people who are the most happy about what the United States did. But really, that shouldn't be all that surprising to anyone.
GTO up north asked me what's my stance on the new socialist mayor that was elected in New York. I lived in New York for 30 years and I left because I just thought that the leftist policies were getting too much for me and I left. So no, I think he sucks. I feel like I can't believe they elected him, and I feel sorry for New York City because they're going to get what they voted for. He just has no capability whatsoever to run a city like New York. And they're going to be gagging. Mandami is a clown, very much so. I I can't even believe they elected him, and he's always smiling all the time. You can't. To me, people don't have discernment. I see right through that to the demon that's in him. I just don't. Mandami is a herb, yes, and I don't even see how they elected him. I really don't. But they elected a communist mayor. Well, suffer.
Except communists, because communists just simply, it's very, straightforward here, don't understand anything about the world, right? That's why they believe what they believe. That's why their instincts on everything are so horrifically wrong. And I think this is yet another prime example, but let's talk about this here today, right? The communists in America versus the Venezuelans in the streets. We also have Mamdani apparently telling Trump he didn't like the fact that they captured Maduro and this should not stand. And of course, no one really cares about his little strongly worded letter. But yes, he was indeed out in the streets today, speaking and rallying and marching in favor of the Venezuelans.
Like Donald Trump or anybody in that administration gives a fuck at all about what he thinks. What he thinks. And you guys better be lucky that Donald Trump is a New Yorker and he loves New York City, because he's not going to allow him to destroy New York City. So y'all going to dodge a bullet with this guy, hopefully. Or maybe Trump might let it fail a little bit just to show you what you voted for. But I just don't think he's going to allow New York to fall. Mark Kendall says he wants one thing for Christmas and George Soros' ass locked up. Yes, agreed. If you look at his background and see what he did to his own people, he don't give a damn about nobody else. Nobody else.
Venezuelan dictator. You know the story. Let's get into it, though. First, though, do us a favor. If you enjoy our content, make sure you hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And that said, okay, so obviously, the U.S. did a lot today. Our military with a highly successful operation. Very impressive. But here comes Mayor Mamdani, right? To say he called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act. Oh, wow.
Who cares?
Look, we were ready to put him on trial for war crimes, but Mayor Mamdani said he is morally opposed to it. Oh, take a listen.
As well as other members of my team, I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal and international law, as well as other members of my team. I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal and international law.
I mean, he's sitting here acting like he's somebody. You're the mayor of New York City. You're not even governor. Like, nobody cares about your opinion at all. You need to be worried about all of the issues that you're going to face in New York City, because he's just not equipped. This is a person that's never even had a job in his life, but he's going to run the biggest city, because liberals are emotional voters. There's no logic involved in why they picked him. Jerome said he lying already. Yes, exactly.
And a desire to see that be consistent each and every day.
And what was his response to you in that
conversation? I registered my opposition.
Listen, they asked him what was the president's response, and he ain't got nothing to say, because I'm sure that he don't really want to say what the president probably told him, or the president probably dismissed him altogether. He's a joke.
Cleared, we left it at that.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm not exactly sure what federal international law is even supposed to mean.
Yeah, Troy says he appointed a rainbow in charge of the fire department. And to me, it doesn't even matter about the rainbow as much as it matters that she has never been a firefighter. So how are you going to be in charge of firefighters and you don't even know anything about being a firefighter? She said that she had been EMS, but EMS and a firefighter are two different things. And the fire chief quit because he didn't want to work under Mandami. It's going to be a mess in New York. It's going to be a mess. And that's the greatest thing God did for me, is deliver me out of there.
Seems like those concepts are pretty contradictory with one another, but hey, I'm not one of these Venezuela protesters, although after all, it seems pretty easy to be one of them. All you have to do is throw out random buzzwords. Federal international law, war crime, regime change, congressional approval, blah, blah, blah. They don't even know what they mean, right? They just scream. If you just kind of put those all together into a salad and throw in some like Iraq War 2.0, it's about the oil, all these just stupid slogans, you basically have a Venezuela protester, right? Do they even know where Venezuela is on a map? Do they have any clue about what's going on here? I mean, clearly, I don't think that's actually the case, or else they would, not be so surprised.
All they know is just anything Trump does or says to go against it. They don't care about facts and receipts. They're not going to find out ahead of time if they're on the right side of the argument, or just no matter what he says or does, be against it. That's their plan.
When the Venezuelan people are overwhelmingly opposed to them, as instead of seeing them as the heroes, right? Referring
to a girl at the end that lets them have it, and most of the Venezuelans are letting them have it.
The communists. But of course, you did get the confirmation from Mamdani. Oh, he called Trump, guys, and strongly voiced his opposition and left it at that. Oh, wow. Okay, so look, we thought we had it, right? We thought it was in the bag. Maduro's in U.S. custody. He's in handcuffs. He's in jail right now. It was a successful military operation, 0 casualties, very impressive. But we were not expecting the last-minute cashing of the Money in the Bank contract when Mamdani was going to say he was verbally opposed. Oh, no. Well, big update here. I know people are so shocked to find this out, but President Trump did not care or acknowledge the fact that Mamdani was morally opposed to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. As a matter of fact, here he is at the DEA in New York City, in Mamdani's own home here. I guess
that's the laugh of it all. He opposing, but he's right in New York City getting locked up. You can't make this up.
Not really his home, but nonetheless, being perp walked through that building. So take a look.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How could this be? Didn't they ask permission from Mamdani first before they did this? So ridiculous. But he was not alone. As you may have seen in Times Square earlier today, a group of communists, and yes, that's exactly what they are. I mean, communist flag, these orange signs that you...
Who in their right mind would want to be aligned with these crazy people? Look how they look. Any protest of these people, they look crazy. They look crazy. Every protest.
So often see, right? Party for Socialism and Liberation. I mean, that's what they're directly here calling themselves, decided to stage a whole protest in favor of Maduro. Take a look at some of those sights and sounds. And also notice the type of people who are in the crowd, because evidently it doesn't seem like there's actually many Venezuelans among them. But check it out.
Stop bombing Venezuela!
The U.S.
Just look. The people that's in the crowd is mostly white people. Like, make it make sense. It's not even any Venezuelans out there. It's crazy. Whoa.
Launched a massive criminal bombing campaign on Venezuela. If the U.S. were interested in ending drug trafficking, they would talk to their allies.
Yeah, so pretty transparent. They're not exactly hiding in this case who they are. You see Soviet communist flags, ANCOM flags, Cuban flags, supporting the Bolivarian Revolution, Freedom Front for Socialism and Liberation, all this garbage, and even the telltale protest signs. What did I say about this? How easy it is to make the slogan.
No war for oil. It's like, who makes these signs up? They have funding for these things, and you're going to see who funds it.
So we have some left-wing buzzwords. No war and something oil. Oh, you put that together in the salad, right? No war for oil. Wow, that sounds so smart. If only these American people knew that the military-industrial complex was lying to them. We're so insightful. People have never heard that one before. Except, again, I say there's a couple of problems with it. First and foremost, you say no war. Well, actually, I agree, no war for oil. I 100% agree with that phrase. You know why? Because there is no war for oil, right? It didn't need to happen because it was basically resolved in the span of 2 hours, okay? And even as it pertains to the oil, maybe I've had a more controversial opinion on this, but sure, it's not the primary or only reason
a lot of people don't notice that the United States has more oil than any of these countries that have oil. But for whatever reason, for corrupt reasons, Democrats did not want anybody drilling here. They try to make it seem like they care about the environment, but it's all to just destabilize the country. And then it's like we have more oil here than anybody, but then we have to get oil from somewhere else. It's just crazy because they're, they make money that way. It doesn't make any sense. The way that they rule is crazy. And I'm glad that people are waking up.
See for, toppling Maduro. But as it pertains, frankly, to the question of the oil, why? Like, why shouldn't America have the oil? Oh, that's theft. Actually, it's not. If you look at the history of how Venezuela's oil economy developed, it's actually entirely thanks to America, and I guess a smaller percentage there goes to England. In the early 1900s, Venezuela had absolutely no infrastructure or capacity to drill the oil that was under their ground. It was American and a little bit of English companies that came in and did that for them, built all the infrastructure. By the way, built Venezuela's economy for them. And then Hugo Chavez actually
remember, when they did do that, Venezuela became the richest nation in Latin America. And then these dictatorships ruined it. What are the communist, socialists, and dictators and cartels and everything? In a short time, a decade or so, took all of the country's resources and had them as the poorest nation in Latin America. It's crazy.
Came and stole it from us, right? He nationalized just seized our assets, nationalized the oil industry in the 1990s. So actually, it is our oil. We should ask for it back. But even, if you don't want to get too much into the weeds of that, I would just further point out, not only did that happen, but the quote unquote Venezuelan people, but really the socialist system that was managing it, clearly had no capacity on their own to carry on all of the oil infrastructure that we had built for them. As a matter of fact, oil production plummeted to near zero due to government mismanagement, the socialist system, and incompetence. And the so-called prosperity that Chavez and Maduro had promised for the Venezuelan people, as you can clearly see, never even materialized. So even on the front of the oil, I would frankly...
Mark Kendall, yes, that's probably true, but we would have more if the Democrats would have been allowing us to drill all these years. I mean, it makes no sense why they would do that. I mean, these people are crazy.
Say that it's actually better for both American and Venezuelan people if the oil that is rightfully America's actually, right, is returned, frankly, to the control of American companies. That will help Venezuela's economy. It will help affordability and gas prices.
Their leaders gave the government the ability to mine the oil and everything. So they took it from the Americans, and they couldn't do the Burkina Faso, so the country just deteriorated.
Here in America, but no, I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm just going to say this slogan, frankly, that it's about the oil, is just ridiculous and stupid. And they speak about that.
Let me skip a little bit to this part here. Let me see. This is getting long. I'll put the link in the description because it's actually a good thing to watch. Let me just get ahead a little bit.
I mean, I guess I'll take it, right? It's like whatever.
All the signs are already propped up. They're just against the walls.
Awesome.
Oh, thank
love
you.
What you do. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you. Hey, Manolo, how you doing? My name is Nate. Nice to meet you. I'm good. How are you? Would you mind doing an interview right now? Can I ask why? You're the leader of the People's Forum. You got $20 million from Roy Neville Singham to protest. Can I ask why you don't want to speak with me right now? Do you deny that you got $20 million to protest?
See, this is the thing. These wealthy communists, or I don't even know who the hell they are, they give millions of dollars for people to come out here and protest. And that might make sense why people are coming out there protesting the dumbest shit. Because they're just getting paid to protest. They don't give a damn what they're out there protesting.
Secondarily, I would like to point out to this whole NGO nonprofit network, as we've been talking about since the death of Charlie Kirk and what must be done in response. Hey, U.S. government, if you want to be competent for once, right, DOJ, etc. Here we appear to have nonprofit organizations that are giving material support to terrorist organizations. Just a reminder on that, right? What, after all, was the Venezuelan government and Cartel de las Solas operating within it classified as by the U.S. government? A terrorist organization, which means, of course, here you have NGOs staging marches on behalf of terrorists. Just something to keep an eye on. I don't know. But, of course, that should not be surprising to you that much of this is astroturfed. However, as you could imagine, thanks to the ironically diversity.
Look how happy the Venezuelans look. They're happy. Let these people alone and let them have their moment of joy.
Of New York City. You know who else lives in New York City? Not just communists, but Venezuelans. And take a look at these streets as to what happened when they showed up, because it turns out that the actual Venezuelan people have a very different opinion on this. Take a listen.
These people so damn happy they're crying. They are literally out here in tears, happy. And then you have white liberals out there protesting against it. Like, make it make sense.
¡Que viva Venezuela libre! ¡Viva! ¡Se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo! ¡Sí se pudo!
I love this side by side because genuinely, if leftists were actually honest with themselves, which they're not, and if they actually thought, which they don't think, but if they did, this ought to be a serious moment of reflection. Like, maybe my worldview doesn't make sense. Maybe my ideology was entirely shattered by the sights and sounds of Venezuelans worldwide.
No,
right?
they'll never.
Because after all, if we're going to push this narrative that it was American imperialism against Venezuela, we're standing with the Venezuelan people. Well, how come the Venezuelan people don't stand with you? How come the Venezuelan people are in such strong support of Trump and what he just did there, right? Do you not stop to think for a second, hey, like maybe I'm a little bit wrong about that? And maybe on a deeper level, if you're going to constantly...
Yeah, Mark Kendall talks about he knows that China will invade Taiwan soon and act it fast. Yes, I agree, because I did hear about that with China invading Taiwan. So I don't really know what to think of that either.
He sell this whole narrative of the brown oppressed people versus the white oppressors and the colonizers. How come in this case your POC allies are actually on the side of the quote-unquote colonizers, right? Like, seriously, again, I understand, right? They're just dishonest. They don't care. They don't think. But this really should be something that really, like, it should be a moment of, like, self-reflection crisis, at least you would think. But that said, okay, take a look at what happens when Venezuelans, obviously, you know where they stand, start showing up to the communist protest in Times Square, because it doesn't start to go all too well for the communists.
You should check out that communist flag over there.
What brings you out here today?
Where I'm organized with the Revolutionary Communists of America. We're out here to say hands off Venezuela.
And he has to read the sign because he don't know what he's doing out there. He's probably one of the paid protesters or just stupid. Which is it?
We unequivocally stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialist aggression.
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets?
What?
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets today?
I saw images of Venezuelans being bombed after the U.S. bombed Caracas. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I think you should definitely
show me the bombings that you're talking about. I didn't see any.
I don't know. I just saw it on Reddit. It was on the front page of
Reddit.
So
okay.
I don't know.
But what do you think?
Of course, that's his news source, by the way. It tells you a lot. Reddit.
Think about the people celebrating, the hundreds of thousands of people that are in the streets celebrating.
I have yet to see it. Can you show me that?
Yeah.
Sure. U.S. imperialism.
People celebrating on the streets.
You're right. Mark says liberals repeat the same type verbiage. That's how you know a sheep, because they're just going to regurgitate what their leftist media is telling them, and they're not verifying anything that they're told. They don't know anything that they're saying is facts. And they're very emotional. They're so emotional and angry and nasty. It's like they got the devil in them. I don't like talking to them because they get angry and they're violent and all of that. For them, for as much as they say white conservatives are bad and they're violent, I've never experienced that. I only experience it from liberals. They're the only people that I've ever come at me crazy.
What do you think about that?
I mean, at the end of the day, I stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialism. The U.S. has no right to bomb the people of Venezuela.
The man done showed him hundreds of thousands of people celebrating that they're happy to see this regime end, and he's still gonna sit there and say he stands for the people of Venezuela against white imperialism. I don't understand. It's like talking to the wall with these people.
The U.S. has no right to kidnap another
Why are they
leader
all
of another.
celebrating? Why are they celebrating?
You know, I don't know. Do you have a correspondent there?
He was already supposed to be indicted already, but the Biden administration let him stay out there, I guess. They never did bring him in to face his indictment. This is what I'm saying. They don't know what they're talking about.
Who can ask? I'm
trying
here
to get out there,
demonstrating
but the
against.
airspace
I'm here
is
demonstrating against U.S. imperialism and the U.S. intervention.
Is this AI though?
He's like a clone, a sheep. He just keeps saying the same thing over and over again, like what Mark Kendall said, the tired verbiage. He can't even think for himself enough to say, like, damn, the people over there are so excited. Like, let me ask why. Why would they be like this? I'm thinking that they're oppressed, but they're happy to have this person go. Why is that? He doesn't even ask.
These images of everybody
I don't know.
celebrating?
You're the one showing me the video, so let me know. You're showing me the source.
I don't know. I don't think it's AI because it's
Okay.
being published by multiple news organizations. So just what are your thoughts on it?
I'm here protesting U.S. intervention,
I understand that. I
U.S.
get that.
imperialism.
To me, it's like, is this a robot? Is this an android or something? He's just programmed and propagandized this message, and he can't come off of it.
U.S. capitalism.
So again, I ask, how does it feel to be wrong about everything?
Exactly. So you guys can watch that video. I'm gonna put it in the description when I get off this live because I forgot to put them in there. Now, listen, these people, I'm telling you, who in their right mind wants to align with these people? I just don't even understand it. I don't understand. I don't understand. I just don't understand. Look at this foolishness. Please look at this. Please look, because these are the people that y'all want me to align with, and I'm just never going to do that. Never, ever going to do that. To me, they seem crazy, and I can't do it. Just look at this foolishness. Oh, let me put the sound on.
Hands up, Venezuela! Hands up, Venezuela! Free President Maduro! La lucha sigue!
Where the Venezuelans at?
Libertad, socialismo o muerte! Venceremos! With me all. Hands up, Venezuela! Hands up, Venezuela! Free President Maduro! La lucha sigue!
It's wasting.
Libertad, socialismo o muerte! Vencer.
Listen, is that a skirt? I think so. Thank you, Jerome, for watching. I appreciate you. I really do. I love you. That means I love you in sign language. Yeah, listen. I tell people all the time when they question why I do what I do is because I just want people to know that I am not an anomaly. There are millions of Black people just like me. There are millions of people of other races and cultures all over the world that do not subscribe to liberalism, and they think y'all are crazy. There are so many other things that you could watch to elevate your frequency, because right now you are on a low vibrating frequency if you subscribe to this. And that's why. So let's look at this girl right here, because she is actually Venezuelan. And you know, the Venezuelan people are like, fuck out of here with your bullshit. Like, they do not want liberals speaking for them. And it just makes no sense that these people are out here telling the people that actually live there that they shouldn't be happy about this and that they're being oppressed now, just like they always tell Black people we're being oppressed. Even though they say, no, we're not, we're living our best life. No, you're oppressed. It's like white liberals, they think they know what's best for everybody on earth. Hold on, y'all. Sorry.
I've seen a lot of videos of gringos trying to explain Venezuela to Venezuelans. You don't even know the difference between Venezuela and Mexico. You can't even point a Venezuela in a fucking map. You don't know what is to live in starvation. You never saw a family member dying because you didn't have the medication, while the members of the Chavismo are walking with Rolex in their hand. Do you want to know how many people died trying to come to America, going through a jungle? Do you want to know how many women were raped there?
I know that's right, because there, as much as white, I've heard a few black people say, "Oh, I'm leaving this country" and everything like that. Okay, but you're going to get on a plane and going to go. You know, you have that choice. There's a lot of people in these nations that they feel is so bad that they trek through the jungle to escape. The people here that complain all the time have never had real suffering. Because even as bad as it is to be poor in this country, it still would be a blessing to some people from other nations that are much more poor, have more opportunities and less assistance. Y'all sound crazy.
We are 8 million of Venezuelans who have left Venezuela. You don't know what is to live like that. You are too freaking busy eating your Starbucks with almond milk, you motherfucker. I have a question for you guys. Where were you when they were killing us?
Yep.
Where were you when they were killing students? Students who...
Yes, they did. I can't even show you that video because they drove the tanks right over the students for protesting. In these third world countries, America is the only place you could get out there and say you hate the government, hate the president, and talk all this crap without being killed. They literally drove tanks over those kids for protesting against that government. So you guys are out here fighting for something that you don't even know what you're talking about.
Who didn't have any weapon. You were too freaking busy drinking your Starbucks with oat milk. So
he was just saying that they ran over the students and they were unarmed. And that's true. You could go out there and see the video. It's unbelievable that they would do that. But this is real tyranny. People they've never experienced tyranny here except for what they did over COVID and the vaccine mandates and forcing experimental medical products and stuff like that. I mean, listen.
You better shut the fuck up and take Venezuela out of your filthy mouth. If you are not from Venezuela, you better shut.
She said, take Venezuela out of your filthy mouth. This is how the Venezuelans feel about the liberals protesting for them, y'all. And you could go on TikTok and see endless videos like this. These people are happy and overjoyed, and it would be nice if white liberals would leave them alone and let them have their joy. Mark Kendall says that same imperialism is what provides liberals with a comfortable life in America. Exactly. Liberals often exhibit Stockholm syndrome, even when faced with facts that cannot be changed. Yes. Look at that boy. That man told him multiple times that the Venezuelans were happy, and he still just regurgitated that same line over and over, like he was just a programmed sheep. I can't be with people like that. I can't. And they could be mad at me all they want. I'm living my best life. I'm happy. I'm happy to be an American. I'm happy to be born here. I'm happy to have the ancestors that I have that paved the way for me in this country to be free and be like how I am today. You can't pay me to go to another country to live. I don't know, maybe Burkina Faso or somewhere like that, maybe in 20 years. Get it fully together. But you guys, I mean, you have to understand. Listen, it's unbelievable how many people are really mad at all of the people that don't subscribe to this liberal agenda. And they never question why. They just attack you and get mad. And the funny thing is, like, I see so many liberal people get on their Facebook pages. And I always say Facebook because it's rare that I have people attack me on Instagram. It's just Facebook because it's so liberal of a platform. And all of my videos and stuff filter from Instagram to Facebook. So I'm not on there a lot. And I go in there every once in a while and see what people are saying. But the people there are just crazy. They're so nasty. They're so violent. They don't really have any facts and receipts. They just want to insult you and stuff like that. And somebody that's training debate knows that when somebody starts attacking you personally, they've already lost the debate and they have no facts and receipts, and quite possibly very stupid. So I kind of like when people hit that wall like that, because it just lets me know that I'm right and they have nowhere else to go. So, but I say all that to say is I never ever see conservatives act like that. It's just them. They're violent and they're angry, and they're so angry, and I don't understand what they're so angry at. Do what we did for 4 years. We were unhappy with our president. We made jokes about him for 4 years. And we sat back and, we took the L and we just, waited it out, and, and now it is what it is. Y'all had crazy policy. Crazy policy. We tried to fight for the kids not getting their genitals cut off, and we tried to fight for the border to be closed and all that. But it wasn't, we fought for COVID and all that. But listen, it wasn't like we weren't going hard like this. It's like y'all gonna age yourself and be ugly, or whatever the case may be. Not shaming, but listen, if you harbor that much resentment and bitterness and angry in you, it's going to age you quite drastically and fast. So just calm down and just ride the wave. Maybe life will be better for everybody. Give these people a chance, because so far I think they're doing okay. Jerome Street says COVID with these checks. Some people need COVID therapy. Listen, yeah. I mean, and all jokes aside, there's a lot of people that are vaccine injured, but they're crickets. They are crickets, and they're letting these Democrat, policymakers get away with it. That's on y'all, Conservatives were the squeaky wheel about COVID, and y'all dropped the ball. So it's like, whatever. Most of us didn't even take it. So it's like, whatever. If that's how you feel about it and you want to let these people get away with it, that's on you. So I'm going to go. I got to be up early tomorrow. My break is over. Back to the film world, back to set. I enjoyed this time off. I got to come on here a little bit more and be with y'all. I appreciate it. And hopefully I can try to, come on a little bit more. It just gets really busy when I'm back at work. So I hope you all had a happy holiday season. I wish you all the best, most prosperous 2026, which I know is going to be, because we don't have Democrats in office. So we can't be any worse off than we were for the last 4 years. And with that being said, I'm going to go. I am Shelly V. This means I love you in sign language. And I do. All of you that came in the comments, I appreciate you, because you make it so much more fun. And I learned from you guys, and some of you guys are really funny. I love it. I really appreciate the people that come in the comments, and you are lovely. My heart. I love you. Like I said, this means I love you in sign language. And I do. No, this is not devil horns, because some dumb, ignorant people, they will say that. But it's only liberals that say that, because this means I love you in sign language. So you all have a great week. Start your new year off right. Be positive. Try to be fit. Eat right. Do the best you can. Because I've been going to the gym a lot lately, and I feel great. And my butt looks better. I can't even tell you how much better I feel. Now, do I eat as good as I should? No. But I'm telling you, you guys go to the gym, especially if you're of a certain age, especially women. You need to, get your muscles strong to protect your bones. And you definitely don't want to be one of them old people who start hunching over and all that. Keep your posture, go to the gym, work on yourself, and just elevate your frequency for 2026. Okay, I'm going to go. I am Shelly B. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm teeter-tottering along. Try to be patient, but it's still fun. And that's why I keep coming back. But please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you too. Jerome says, you too, great person, but the gym, I'll work on it. Yeah. I mean, even if you don't go to the gym, I always have my trainer teach me exercises that I can do at home, because I might not feel like going to the gym, especially during the week when I'm working. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can even just start with taking the stairs more. I've learned that working out your legs works your whole body. So a leg workout for a few minutes, is better than nothing, because it works your whole body. So I'm going to go. I am Shelly B. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll see you in the next one.